Good morning. This pandemic has had a huge impact on lives and livelihoods. We can see it in the lives we've lost, the Canadians out of work, the businesses that have closed, and long wait lists for surgeries. But some of the impacts of this pandemic are not visible at first glance. The frontline health heroes, those experiencing anxiety, burnout, and depression from working long hours and losing people in their care. Plusieurs effets et conséquences de cette pandémie ne sont pas visibles. Les héros de la santé en première ligne, ceux qui souffrent d'anxiété, d'épuisement professionnel et de dépression à force de travailler de longues heures et de la perte des patients. I think about our kids, including our daughter Molly and our son Jack and their friends. Millions of young Canadians have spent a year away from their teachers, coaches, their friends, their mentors, or they've faced major changes in their lives. School closures and the lack of sports and other activities had a massive impact. We see alarming increases in eating disorders and rates of anxiety in young people. Our seniors have been stuck in isolation and unable to visit their children or grandchildren. 1 in 5 Canadians suffers from symptoms of depression, anxiety, or operational stress. Someone you know is struggling right now. The mental health crisis is the epidemic within the COVID-19 pandemic. Un Canadien sur 5 souffre de dépression, d'anxiété ou de stress post-traumatique. Quelqu'un que vous connaissez souffre en ce moment. And we need Canadians to know we are taking action to support you and your loved ones. A Conservative government is prepared to make the historic investments needed and to work with the provinces to build better, more connected mental health care systems for all Canadians. Canada's Conservatives will deliver the help Canadians need with our Canada Mental Health Action Plan. Un gouvernement conservateur va investir au bon endroit. On va travailler avec les provinces pour créer des systèmes de soins en santé mentale plus efficaces et plus connectés pour les Canadiens. Avec le plan d'action canadien pour la santé mentale, les conservateurs vont agir pour aider les Canadiens. We will start by investing billions in public health care, increasing health transfers to the provinces by at least 6% per year. After coming through a pandemic, the Liberals decided a one-time top-up for health care was good enough. It isn't. As Prime Minister, I will double the current federal commitment to the growth of health funding, making an additional $60 billion available for health and mental health over the next 10 years. This will be the largest increase in federal health spending in a generation. It will reinforce and secure our public and universal health system. And it will enable the provinces to invest in mental health as the health care priority it is. Comme Premier ministre, je vais doubler l'engagement fédéral pour l'augmentation du financement de la santé. Au cours des 10 prochaines années, un gouvernement va donner 60 milliards de dollars additionnels pour la santé et la santé mentale. Ça va être la plus forte augmentation des investissements fédéraux pour la santé depuis des décennies. Et ça va permettre aux provinces d'investir dans la santé mentale. C'est une priorité. We won't bicker and fight with the provinces, but we will work with them as true partners on mental health with the goal of giving more Canadians access to the vital mental health treatment they need, and more quickly. And we'll ask corporate Canada to do its part too, offering them a big incentive to make mental health a priority for their employees. We will provide a 25% tax credit for 3 years to encourage companies to add mental health coverage for their employees. We know that nonprofits and charities are doing outstanding work every single day in supporting those facing mental health challenges, addiction, and desperation, like our friends here at Liberty for Youth. They are community heroes, and Conservatives will support your great work and help build capacity on the ground in communities across our country. We will provide $150 million over the next 3 years in grants to nonprofits and charities delivering mental health and wellness programming on the ground across Canada. Au cours des 3 prochaines années, on va offrir 150 millions de dollars aux organismes communautaires et à but non lucratif qui offrent des services en santé mentale. We also want access to crisis mental health support to be available to Canadians 24/7. That's why, similar to using 911 in case of emergency, Canada's Conservatives will implement a nationwide 3-digit suicide prevention hotline so that consistent help is available everywhere across the country. Finally, we know that Indigenous communities face particularly serious mental health challenges and often lack the support they need. The rates of suicide and mental health challenges in Indigenous communities far exceed those in non-Indigenous ones. Intergenerational trauma can lead to addiction and mental wellness issues. We must address this as a country. A Conservative government will ensure that culturally appropriate supports are there for Indigenous peoples when they need them most. We will invest $1 billion over 5 years to boost funding for Indigenous mental health and drug treatment programs, including building community capacity and delivering programs in Indigenous languages. This represents the single largest commitment to improving mental health for Indigenous communities in our country's history. As a country, we need to recognize that mental health is health. This is personal for me, and I want to tell you why. In 1998, Swiss Air Flight 111 crashed off Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia. My Air Force squadron responded, as did the Navy, first responders and fishermen nearby. I saw how the exposure to trauma impacted some of my colleagues. It was the first time I heard the term operational stress injury, and I saw how the military was trying to treat mental health like physical health. We must get support to the people who need it. Since I left the military, I've tried to work to reduce stigma, find ways to help, and make wellness a priority. As Prime Minister, Rebecca and I will make this a personal mission for the recovery of our country. En 1998, le vol Swiss Air Flight 111 s'est écrasé au large de Peggy's Cove en Nouvelle-Écosse. J'ai vu comment le traumatisme a eu un impact sur certains de mes collègues. C'était la première fois que j'entendais le terme traumatisme lié au stress opérationnel. Et j'ai vu comment les forces armées ont essayé de traiter la santé mentale comme la santé physique. Nous devons apporter de l'aide aux personnes qui en ont besoin. Depuis que j'ai quitté l'armée, j'ai essayé de travailler pour réduire la stigmatisation, trouver des moyens d'aider et faire de la santé mentale une priorité. En tant que Premier ministre, Rebecca et moi allons faire de la santé mentale une mission personnelle pour l'avenir de notre pays. Our Canada Mental Health Action Plan will provide real help to those in need and their families. Notre pays doit reconnaître que la santé mentale est la santé. Notre plan va agir pour aider les gens qui ont besoin d'aide et leurs familles. Working together, we will build a mental health care system that meets the needs of all Canadians. Ensemble, on va agir pour l'avenir. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.